like, these are some matches that you're going to want to watch for VOD review, but just in general, I think that that was such a close set, man. Like, and like, again, like, last hit situation multiple times. Like, there was no reason, like, I can't believe they lived that long afterwards. But what a set, man, and it's going to be kind of crazy to see if RP4 is able to keep his composure, man. Is he able to kind of keep this roll going? Because you did say, you predicted that whoever won the game between Solidus and RP4 would win the tournament.
Yeah, we're gonna see. I think that although that was a 3-1, so it wasn't a like game 5 last hit situation. I'm sure that he is shaken, to say the very least. So I would imagine that going into this set, maybe to take like a small breather, get prepared for whatever is occurring. And, you know, I think Luxray's just been hanging out for the past hour or so. So I'm sure he's just ready to get back into getting done some games. So in the end, good set between the two of them, Solidus and RP4. And he will be falling at a very well-deserved third place.
Yep, I mean, that was an incredible set right there. I mean, I think you're right on that, Cherry. I mean, we've just seen so much improvement from Solidus. And I mean, outside of a move here or there, honestly, he's going into game number 5 against someone who's consistently placed in our top 3 for the entirety of our series. So, I mean, you know, hats off to him. It is certainly not a third place to hang your head in shame on, honestly. So no, I'm really happy to see the eventual, the gradual getting better over time with it and stuff like that as well. So no, hats off to him. As we get ready to go into grand finals, let's take a quick look at the bracket, review where we've been already. All right, so we just got done watching a really tight game number 4 between RP4 and Solidus Hedgehog. That 3-1 really does not tell the story of that set right there. Coming up next, we're getting ready to go back onto the winners half of things. This is a winners finals rematch. IDM 41, 42, 40, 29, 28 rematch. These guys are getting ready to play again for the 50 bajillion time, and it looks like they've already gotten started. Let's go ahead and hop into the full game.
You're right on that. They're already diving in. Here we are, 14 players down, and only 2 are left, and one of them is going to be standing as the victor in the end. And I'm going to be completely honest, it's going to be very hard to tell who's going to win this. As you may recall, Cherry and Kevin, we saw only Pyra and Mythra when Winners Finals was going on. So now, maybe Losers Finals made him just think, oh my gosh, I need to stick with Link. So that looks like what we're going through. So I think if he's starting as Link, there's no way he's going back to Pyra and Mythra.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the only way the only way some sort of switch happens is like, if like somehow Link just gets devastated. Like, he has no other options. But at the same time, I could definitely see RP4 just being like, you know what, man, I deserve a break, and just switch to like Ganondorf or something. Like, Solidus made me a bit like a bit too much, man. But look at this, nice edge guard from Luxray, man. And I think that with Luxray kind of on a break, that's either like, it's hard to say because it's still so early, but icing is a real thing. Like, players sometimes just really don't like getting like slowed down in terms of the speed at which they get their sets announced. And when you were waiting that long through like a couple crazy sets for your opponent, they might be very warmed up, although at the same time they're mentally, they might just be exhausted. And it's hard to say, but we will see. And so far, it's pretty even, I would say. Luxray had a really great first stock starting off, and seems to be continuing into the second one.
Definitely. And RP4 is looking to make that slow but sure comeback. Luxray, oh man, so close. I mentioned in the last set the magnet hands happened, And I guess it didn't happen this time.
It looks like there was a bomb left on the stage, so he was out of that option, I'm assuming.
Yeah. If he wanted, like, if he had it, I'm sure he would have probably dropped it and just forced that situation.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. You're right.
Oh my
gosh.
goodness. One thing, not even necessarily related to this, but it's kind of like as people, like, once you get interested into competitive Smash, you start to see like things like Link bomb recovery, and you're like, wow, that's like the coolest thing I've ever seen. And now here all we are, like, years later,
yeah.
We're watching like Link do bomb recovery, and it's just like a normal thing. We're just like, I didn't have the option. It's just like, that's so funny to me.
It always kind of reminded me of Zero Suit Samus's up air, up B combos from Smash 4. You'd see it all the time, but it was just so stylish. And it kind of reminds me of the bomb recovery. It's just so cool to see them blast themselves from the edge of the stage and tech the side of the wall. Regardless, though, Luxray, he did something similar to what I saw BW Styles do earlier, where BW Styles tends to hang on the ledge or throw out down airs. He usually never runs off in those forward airs, and I remember BW Styles did that 1 or 2 times when we saw him in his loser set with Solus Hedgehog. Or, no, it was Thugnificent. And during this moment right here, one of the things I've noticed is that, I'm blanking on his name, Luxray does a very good job at applying pressure on the ledge, and you almost never see him go off stage. So I think for RP4, that must have just been very unexpected.
Oh wow, look at that. And we're both wrong.
Man, I'm getting everything wrong tonight.
Now you know why I'm like at like 103 like wrong predictions, man. Like, I'm just, if I was somebody who could bet Shema points, man, you already know I'd be at 0 all the time. Like, they are given to you for doing absolutely nothing but watching, and I would have 0 at all times. That's
absolutely. I think that these players are just maybe having mindsets that I'm not considering. Maybe it might be just cool at some point to just hear about, you know, why are they making the decisions that they are? His Link didn't do that bad, so I wonder why his thoughts were to go to the Pyra and Mythra. Sometimes I've had thoughts where I lose a game and I'm like, I'm going to switch a character. And that's not always the best mindset, but sometimes it can work. So we're going to have to see what happens. I hate that I said, but sometimes it can work, and he loses the stock. I'm gonna let you say a couple things.
Nah, man, and I mean, you did say sometimes, and maybe this will turn into one of those times where it does, but not currently. And I think it's always possible. We're seeing a kind of different play style from RP4. He's starting to be a bit more like conservative in terms of his interaction with Luxray, as now he just needs to make sure that Luxray is the one approaching, trying to get through his large hitboxes, and Luxray's finding the ways to do it, but at the same time, we're seeing like Luxray still finding these options, man, like making Incineroar look godlike.
Wow, yeah, I cannot. The game literally just said, what? I can't believe you're dead. Up air actually killed you. I just find it funny when the game just has no idea what's going on. But RP4 gets that first stock with that juicy forward smash. Oh, baiting it, allowing Luxray to run towards the edge. I think he wants to get Luxray on the edge in order to somehow throw him off.
Yeah.
Maybe get some early gimp.
Maybe like a fair like upbeat kind of thing, bounce him in the stage. But at the same time, like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like this matchup definitely could work. I honestly just wonder why he doesn't do more Mythra. Like, to be fully honest with you. Oh no.
Oh no! He did that earlier too. Another SD. This is looking very tough.
Yeah.
I think if there's anything we've seen in these past 2 games, regardless of it being Link or Pyra and Mythra, Luxray has definitely held on to the momentum. And RP4 I think he's just struggling to grab it. And we're just going to have to see what he can do, because Luxray is on the verge of taking this tournament.
And Kevin, did you also say that RP4 has overtaken Luxray currently in terms of seeding. He's currently number 1.
So yes, he's currently number 1 with I think Luxray's absence last week. You imagine RP4 gets a really great score last week with the result, and then Luxray ultimately getting a 0. So a little swap there. I'd imagine we'll probably see something here as well, but that's going to be tough because once again RP4 consistently placing first, second.
Yeah, it's definitely a close race, man. And it may look a bit different in terms of the set count, but I think that, honestly, those first couple of games might have been just also a mix of just, like, fatigue. And we are seeing a bit different start to this game. It's still pretty much tied, but, like, one game doesn't start tied. I think that also, with RP4 at least having this trump card of Northern, we might see a game come out for RP4, as, of course, he also takes the stock count in his favor early on, which I don't think has happened yet in this set.
People may say that Hyrule Temple, it would be home advantage for Link, but for RP4, Northern Cape is home advantage, if I do say so myself.
Sure. I mean, hey, Sephiroth's got a long sword, Link's got a long sword, Sephiroth has some sort of bomb.
Wow, did you see that conversion?
I did, man. He was doing Octo Slash because it's like Sephiroth.
Oh, not gonna go for the ledge that time, and it's gonna cost him.
Yeah, I think he got a little greedy looking for the forward or up B reverse, similar to one of the matches that he played against, I believe, Solidus actually. That may have gotten him here, and that's just one of those interactions where when RP4 and Luxray played this much, both players know that at some point that read is going to happen, and I think unfortunately for him, man,
he accidentally used the arrow, I think, and it completely halted his momentum, and then there was no way of getting back. And the bomb was on the platform too. Nothing went right there.
Yeah, luckily this isn't a 3 stock like last time, and Luxray already is at such a high percent, but double counter, not gonna kill yet, man.
He's very close to losing his stock.
Oh my goodness, and that's 47%. Now Luxray, if he wants, he can, at any point, man, lose the stock and be very comfortable.
Oh my gosh, he's at max rage. I think if you're RP4, you're definitely fishing for an up tilt, is what I'd mean.
Oh no.
Because up tilt seems pretty safe, and in this type of situation, never mind.
Nice
Get forwarded off the platform. I like that.
Alright, it's definitely attainable, I think. This is the closest I think it's been all night, if I'm not mistaken.
Between these two, definitely.
Yeah, but
oh my
god, these nair loops. Gotta be careful here.
Luxray is very good at catching ledge options, but RP4 gets around it on top of that platform. Has some of that dash attack.
Wow.
It's because of the revenge.
Dash attack is going to seal it with a solid 3-0 with Incineroar, played by Luxray, taking the 44th IDM tournament.
Man,
good stuff to both players, though. They both, even though it was a 3-0, you have to understand that it wasn't like both of them were, or it wasn't even like RP4, as many would say, like was getting bodied or anything. He was actually holding his own. It's just that Luxray was just covering all those options very well that RP4 was trying to take advantage of. So I really enjoyed watching all these sets. I've really seen a lot of these players just taking each other to their limits, and it's just something really great to see. Seeing how these players have, especially those who are returning players, have just come so far over this time. And even as players like RP4 and Luxray, who have just been here for so much time, and they've been doing pretty well ever since they've showed up, you just see that they're equally balanced in terms of how much they can take advantage of one another. But again, we're talking about how Luxray's been pretty prevalent in set wins over RP4. So as always, well, let's see what happens next time.
Yeah, honestly, you summed it up perfectly. Like, I think, I don't know. I think for me, like, it's just so interesting to see everybody kind of now. It's the competition's rising, and more players are kind of rising up to really threaten these top 2 and 3 seeds. And Solidus definitely is getting into that like top 4 spot, top 3 spot position. And I think that it's still somewhat early in the season. I think we're not really halfway yet, I don't think.
We're just before halfway or so.
Yeah. So like we have a bit of time, and it'll be interesting to see like once we get to that half, like what's the difference going to be, you know? Like there's always something that changes.
Well, you know, I think one of the things to really kind of piggyback on that, Cherry, is that think about it like this. Beforehand, it used to be pretty much a shoe-in what we were going to expect for our first, second, and even down to our third and fourth places. And now that's a little bit of a toss-up. So much so, though, let's take this into large consideration. Even some of the people who are outside of the top 4 today, think about what a champs and challengers would look like, right? Before, I used to think a champs and challengers was such a necessary thing because the skill gap was so wide, right? You know, and you had guys who, you know, were coming and consistently working on their game, but were disappointed by 0-2 nights. Well, you know, we've watched a lot of those guys, you know, Phil, somebody who was really a really big impact and enthusiast, but somebody who was, you know, learning some of the ropes of the game is, you know, excellingly better than what he was beforehand. And, you know, being that much more ahead is making me look at the champs and challengers a little bit differently, which is what I really wanted to try and give a shot for at the end of this month. But no, man, I'm really happy and proud with the way that our community has kind of developed over time and whatnot. And so, you know, I can go back to when Solidus was playing Mario as a main, and it was fun to watch, but it certainly was not rivaling what he's been doing in the past few weeks. And so, no, I think it's really great. You know, hats off to RP4 and Luxray for, you know, once again pulling together a great finals and losers finals match. And I think Luxray felt the heat a little bit today. He did not play anybody that was not, you know, Incineroar, basically. I think he knew that after missing a week, it was really important that he come back this week and do the best he can to really kind of secure a dub. And did a great job in that. I think overall, even with the competitive nature of most of the matches, you know, you could say that this was a dominant victory for him. I don't think, to some degree, there was ever any real threat of him dropping down into losers. You know, I think to some degree we wanted to see how competitive, you know, bracket 1 of winners round 1 was going to be. But he really came out on point, and I think we all can kind of see that. So really great night, man. I mean, amongst even the technical difficulties that were coming up, we are getting ready to raid Third Coast Reviews, a Chicago media outlet here that we've done some interviews and things with beforehand. So if you guys stick around for that, we're going to start the raid over on their channel right now. Beyond that, next week, I know we wanted to bring up a discussion about what we wanted to do for our year anniversary, and I'm pretty happy to try to think about throwing some prizes in and whatnot. And I also want to make sure that I hype that alongside with possibly an announcement for our 50th. So you guys, if you get a chance to, make sure to hop onto our YouTube channel, subscribe there. You'll see the archives of everything tonight, and we'll see you guys next week.